Hi Aries. So this video for 2022 is for Aries rising, sun, and moon. Typically the rising sign is the strongest, then the sun sign, and then the moon sign. Some people do resonate with their moon. I also encourage people who have a lot of planets in Aries or their first house to watch it as well, because they may resonate with some of these things. So if you have a stellium in your first house or a stellium in Aries in your chart, then this may also apply to you. So as you can see on the screen, these are the transits I'm going to cover. Of course, there are a lot more transits going on this year, but these are some of the major ones that I think are important. Some of the other ones are faster moving, and they'll happen and be over quicker, like Mercury retrogrades and stuff like that. So I think what I'll do is I will do shorter videos for those as we enter those time periods. But I thought that this was a good summary of some things to keep in mind about what you will be dealing with this year, and how to utilize that energy. So we've begun the year and we are still in Venus retrograde. Venus retrograde happened December 19th and will stay there until January 29th. And she is in Capricorn right now. So she'll go direct January 29th, and then she's going to stay there until March 6th. So this is a long theme of us having to have a focus in this area. And for you, it is in your 10th house. So the 10th house is all about our career, our public image, our reputation. It's how the world sees us. So if we don't have a career and we're retired, it's how other people see us or know us. It is, goals, and it rules masculinity. So it usually rules men or fathers, and also authority figures. So Venus retrograding here, you probably have been reevaluating your values when it comes to your career, your life direction, and your public image. You may be renegotiating things from your past. Any re-words apply here, so renegotiate, rethink, redo, reassess. So this is all regarding your reputation, your worth relating to career matters. You may be rethinking how you earn money in career matters, and there might be some other financial implications to resolve or renegotiate at this time. So maybe your salary, or the work you're putting in and whether you're earning that back. If your values have changed, then maybe your job needs to change, and maybe that's something you've been thinking about. You will be reassessing your career and public image and whether it aligns with your values. March 6th, you will have more clarity around this and be ready to make any changes regarding your career at this time. So if you are someone who's been confused about their career, unsure about it, that your values have changed, like maybe you work in a medical center and you're more of a holistic, type of person, maybe you're renegotiating that. Wait until March 6th. You're going to have a lot more clarity after this time. And at that point, you are going to feel more confident in making any changes. The next transit that's really exciting is Jupiter in Pisces. I did do a whole video on this, so I will put it in the information box so you can just click on it and listen to your sign. But basically, Jupiter in Pisces is expansion, growth, and luck when it comes to activities behind the scenes for you, because Jupiter in Pisces is going into your 12th house. So Jupiter is in Pisces now and will stay there till May 10th. And then again, will be there October 28th until the 20th. And again, staying in your 12th house. So the 12th house is a very interesting house. It's the house of endings, healing, spirituality, solitude, closure, the afterlife, anything unseen, the subconscious. But it's also the house of sorrows, losses, and some more, not so pleasant things like that. So Jupiter here is a really nice placement, just because Jupiter is going to kind of bless that house and give you some extra protection there. You might be spending more time alone during these like during the periods I just mentioned. This is great for healing any subconscious issues or addictions. Meditation and other forms of spirituality may not only bring you pleasure, but perhaps luck in terms of maybe downloads or ideas that you receive when you're in those states. This is a very auspicious placement since the 12th house can mean losses and sorrows, but Jupiter here will act as almost like a guardian angel protecting you. Then Jupiter is going to dip into your first house. When does it dip into the first? It goes in May 10th to October 28th. And you're going to get a little taste of what 2023 will be like. So where you were kind of more introverted, you might feel more extroverted at this time. You might feel more like being out there in the world. You might feel more optimistic, generous. It's going to be very different from Jupiter in the 12th for sure. It's a really great idea to launch things at this time. I mean, keeping in mind the Mercury retrogrades, of course, but to put your ideas out there, ask for a raise, and just take risks during this time because Jupiter is going to help you. The first house also rules the physical body. So if you want to change yours, this is an excellent time. It's not only great for your mental health, but yeah, your physical health as well. The only caution is around weight gain if you don't want to gain weight, because Jupiter can make us a bit more indulgent. So you could put on a few extra pounds. If that's something that you want to do, then you can, especially if you're someone who's into like weightlifting. This would be a really good time to put some muscle gain on. It would be a little easier and you would be more motivated towards that. In general, you will just attract lucky breaks and feel bubblier and just more optimistic. You might come off more Sagittarius-like with Jupiter here in terms of like your personality. But it's a really lovely time. You're only going to get a little bit of a snippet, but that is going to be basically what all of 2023 will be like. So that will be nice for you to kind of experience that, especially after being in this solitude state for so long. It could very well be for some Aries people that the Jupiter and Pisces now through May 10th is about you healing something, right? Maybe healing some personal things like some traumas, or maybe it is an addiction, and then once Jupiter moves into your first house from May through October, you're just feeling like, okay, I've done my healing and now I'm ready to put myself out there. So that's just like one example, but I think that will be a really nice contrast for you. So we talked about Jupiter. Now we're going to talk about Saturn, which is the opposite of Jupiter. I also did make I think I made a Saturn video. I'll post it if I did. I can't remember, but I think I did. But basically Saturn is, the restrictor, right? Jupiter is the expander. Saturn's the restrictor. And Saturn can also cause blockages, challenges. He's just going to require us to put some more effort and discipline into whatever we're doing. And if we aren't someone who likes that, it can be very frustrating. So for you, Saturn has been in your 11th house, and this is a longer term transit. He's been there for quite some time, and he'll stay there until March 2023. So this is something that is ongoing. So Saturn's asking you to apply more discipline, structure, and patience when it comes to your 11th house matters. So the 11th house is all about the groups we belong to, whether that's a gym group, a humanitarian group, it could be any group really, a sports team. Our friendships are a huge component of the 11th house, any humanitarian efforts, and it's also it's the house of gains. So it's our long-term goals and wishes. So with Saturn here, there's a few things that could be happening. Friends who are no longer serving you or who you've outgrown of, you're probably going to let go of. If there's been some issues in friendships or imbalances, you're going to feel them because Saturn's going to pressure them for you to either fix them or let them go if they just don't, align with you anymore. You might also need to restructure how you function within a friendship. There might be something that you need to change about you, and Saturn's asking you to do that. You may attract more serious or older, mature friends. you're just going to be more serious about friendships. Like, friendships are not going to be these nonchalant people that you talk about, you know, the weather with. You're going to be getting serious about this. And that applies to groups as well. Like, maybe you are in a running group and you just don't mesh with them anymore, you know, or maybe you don't like to run anymore or something like that. That's just a very superficial example. In terms of your long-term goals, Saturn's going to ask you to be more realistic when it comes to these. So if you've been a bit idealistic or just kind of wishful thinking and not really applying the effort, you're going to now see that you need to really put in some work to achieve this. If you do have a social media account, you're going to have to work extra hard to like maintain your fans and subscribers and followers and stuff like that. It doesn't mean you can't grow them. It's just not going to be easy. You're going to have to really apply yourself. And, you know, for some, you just have to put some more work into your long-term hopes, goals, and wishes. And for others, you're going to have to totally revamp them. And Saturn will show you, you know, where they are in terms of manifesting and how much more work you need to do. So my advice with Saturn is to not be afraid of hard work and to not expect any rewards until later on. So I know Saturn's been here for a while, and it has been said that halfway through the Saturn transit, if you've been doing the work, you're going to start seeing some of that reward. So that halfway point is about March of this year. So if you have been putting the work in and you've had to make a lot of changes in these 11th house topics that I've just been discussing, then you might start to see positive changes and reward around March. The next transit I want to talk about is Mars in Aquarius. And this is not a super long transit, but the reason I wanted to bring it up was because you already have Saturn there. So Saturn is a malefic planet, as is Mars. They're not considered friendly. That doesn't mean they're like horrible, but when two planets like this are together, it shows me that there's going to be like a focus here. And so I want to give some guidance in how to utilize this energy and how you can make it, you know, work for you, because Mars and Saturn can be a little tough sometimes. So first, let's talk about what Mars is. So Mars is a planet of ambition and drive, determination, but also conflict, fighting, war. Mars is very inflammatory. So where Mars goes, there is the chance for conflict. So the positive energy might be, you know, that you manifest more drive to go after these 11th house topics. So your long-term goals, for example, and dreams, like maybe you put some solid efforts in. So that solid effort would be Saturn into achieving them. And you'll see a result because of that, right? But a less positive manifestation might be conflict with friends or groups. Mars also cuts. So you may have to cut a friend out or a group of people out. There might be more conflicts with friends. So just be careful not to burn bridges, because you might be more aggressive and competitive when it comes to groups and friendships. This also applies to, you know, any group. So a humanitarian group, political group, you know, a gym group, it doesn't matter. Any type of group like that you associate with. Another thing to be careful of here, because 11th house can rule social media, be careful if you are on social media. Be careful with your posts around this time. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you the time. I have it on the screen, but Mars is in Aquarius March 7th through April 14th. So mark this on your calendar and just make sure that you're getting extra exercise, you know, to channel that energy. Make sure that if you are triggered and want to act out aggressively, whether that's telling someone off or, you know, that you give yourself 24 hours, just because you might do something you later regret, and that can't be undone. That's especially the case with social media and like posts and stuff. So just be careful there. Yeah, so with Saturn there too, if you were to act out, you would get that consequence with Saturn there. With Jupiter, I might be like, well, maybe you'll have some protection, but with Saturn there, be very careful, because Saturn is also consequences. The next transit we're going to talk about is Uranus in your second house. So Uranus is in Taurus, And he's been there for a while. He's been there since like, I want to say 2018. I think it was like May of 2018 or somewhere around then. So this is an ongoing transit as well, but he's going direct. So when he's direct, he's more powerful. So the second house, let's talk about the second house first. The second house is the money we earn from like our day job. So it's income, it's our values, our material possessions, our assets, and it's also our self-worth. So Uranus here, this may manifest as sudden changes in how you earn money. This could be sudden like increases in money, sudden losses. So if you work in an area that's already like that, you could even say you might have extreme highs and extreme lows. Like, I don't know, I'm thinking of like real estate or contract work or something. I don't know. There may be lots of ups and downs here, just because Uranus is very unstable and unpredictable. This may show you new innovative ways of earning money. Like you might get some new ideas. Your values may change, and quite drastically. So just an example, some people may become more materialistic while others become more minimalist. Like maybe you're someone who has a lot and you just decide, you know what, I don't really care about this stuff anymore, or I don't care about name brands and stuff like that. There can be also trends towards Uranus type money ventures. So think technology, science, the internet, computers, and even like astrology, because it's anything unusual. So astrology, tarot, anything kind of weird would be under that. And you might get some really out of the blue ideas in terms of how to make money with something that you already do that's unusual. Uranus ultimately wants freedom and liberation. So you may be working towards achieving more of this in your area of finances. The only caution is to not be too impulsive here, because Uranus can be quite impulsive and can kind of throw out what is the saying? The baby with the bathwater. So just be careful about that. But, ultimately at the end of this transit, once he leaves in a few more years, I believe, you're going to have more autonomy and freedom and liberation when it comes to how you earn a living, and as well as, how you value yourself. The last part of this, we're going to talk about the eclipses. So the eclipses are in Taurus and Scorpio this year. And for you, that is your second house of earned income, the house we just talked about, as well as your eighth house of, other people's money. So it's all about money this year. I listed the dates for all the eclipses. So around these periods, you're going to see more concentration in what I'm about to talk about, but it does apply throughout the whole year. So eclipses are all about major beginnings and major endings. And for you, it's all about your second and eighth houses. So there might be new beginnings when it comes to how you earn an income. With Uranus sitting there, I definitely can see this happening. There might be new beginnings in finances in general, new beginnings in your value system, and your material possessions. So maybe for some people, you acquire new material possessions, so a house, a car, items of value. With the South Node being in the eighth house, you might have to let go of another resource you were benefiting from. So that could be anything from alimony, child support, a partner's income. I mean, the list goes on. You might be able to pay off a large debt, or you might need to take on more debt, such as a mortgage. Because the eighth house rules death and mortality, you could be organizing your affairs, like life insurance and, a will and things like that. But with Uranus here, there will be a major focus on money this year, and I predict very new innovative ways of earning it. And although the second house doesn't rule like the career house, like the 10th, it's still how we earn money. So if you are not in a career that's aligned with you, if you're not earning money in a way that's aligned with you, the universe is going to help you get out of that. And it might be quite sudden. And it might even shock some people, just because, not only because of Uranus, right? Uranus likes to shock, and Uranus is in your second house, but also because the eclipse is there. So if you are someone who's unhappy in your career, or how you earn money, I should say, expect some shakeups here, because I think that you'll find yourself doing something a lot more aligned to who you are, and feeling a lot more freedom in how you earn it. So overall, that's just kind of the synopsis I have for this year. I hope I wasn't too jumpy. I'm still kind of getting new to how I formulate these. So as I do more, I'm sure I'll get better. But I hope that that gave you some information to work with. And if you have any questions, comments, I'd love to hear them. Please like, share, subscribe if you gained anything from this or found it useful. And stay tuned for some more videos in the next few weeks and months ahead. Thanks so much.